my friends, is King K. Rool finally about to make his long-awaited return to the DK franchise? That is the question of the day. I believe that he will, and more than that, I think there's a bunch of evidence, some of it reaching, I understand, but I believe it's there nonetheless, sprinkled all over the Donkey Kong Bananza Direct shown just a few days ago. So we're going to go over it ourselves, over this proposed evidence, so you can make up your own minds and let me know in the comments what you think. But before we go there, friends, don't forget you can win yourselves a copy of the game right here when I'll be playing and streaming Donkey Kong Bananza on day one. All you got to do is be there, be subscribed, and now that you're here, you may as well hit that like button because it helps us out a bunch. And then, my friends, pull up a chair right there next to me. It's not really there, figuratively, as we sit and look at Exhibit A, pointing at the possible return of King K. Rool. And it's all to do with the chatter online of people saying they're seeing a resemblance between the leader of Void Kong himself, and the original nemesis of DK, King K. Rool. And what is that resemblance? It's not just the appearance, it's more to do with how they decorate themselves. Because if we take a quick look over at Void Kong himself, we can see he likes to dabble himself in the gold, in the bling. We can see he's got the gold teeth, he's got like a gold little icon around his neck, he's even got like a gold waistcoat. Now, if we look back at King K. Rool, we know he loves the stuff. He, of course, had the gold crown, the gold bracelets. He even had his belly and his man boobs splashed in the stuff. So we know King K. Rool is all about that gold. So people think this is more than a reference, and they're actually pointing to the fact that they think Void Kong might be King K. Rool in disguise, that he might have transformed himself into the leader of this gang. And it's not out there notion at all, because we've seen that Void Kong himself has transformed Pauline into some little rock. So, you know, it's not out of the realms of possibility, but it's not the reason that I'm most convinced King K. Rool will be coming over to Donkey Kong Bananza, but it's a pretty interesting theory nonetheless. That's Exhibit A. Now, if we look over at Exhibit B, here, my friends, I believe we have something a lot more substantial and very interesting indeed, and it's something that Andre from Andre's Restart picked up on in one of his videos a while ago, and that video will be in the description below. I encourage all of you to watch it in its full, because aside from the evidence we're about to look at right now, he also has some additional reasons as to why he thinks King K. Rool will be in Donkey Kong Bananza. But the evidence at hand here is all to do with these croc toys that we see all throughout the game. And that's very important. It's not just the sole croctoid, there's a bunch of them. They have different types of rock, different formations, different colors, and we see them in different scenarios. But there's one thing that remains consistent, and that is to say that when Donkey Kong demolishes them, we see the remnants of a gold skeleton massively looking like the Kremlings from the Super Nintendo Donkey Kong Country games and Donkey Kong Country 64 itself. Now, could this just be a reference to those games? I believe not, purely for the fact, as I just stated, it's not just a sole occurrence. We see different types of these croc toys in different stages of the game, in different scenarios. I believe this is something more. It's almost as though, well, they are working for Void Kong, but by extension, are they working for King K. Rool? Does that lean into the notion that Void Kong himself is King K. Rool? This is very, very interesting, and I think this is a massive, it's more than a reference, I think this is a massive hint at King K. Rool being in this game. But what do you guys think about this? That's the second exhibit. But Exhibit 3 is something a lot more basic, but I believe it definitely points towards King K. Rool. Because yes, my friends, in this 17 long minute direct, Nintendo took a moment aside to remind us that Amiibo is a thing, it still exists. And despite the fact that this shows a very awesome looking Donkey Kong and Pauline Amiibo, and they showed us all the functionality that would have, and the fact that we could use basically every Amiibo in existence in this game, but there was something very glaringly obvious for me right there front and center, and that was King K. Rool. The fact that you could use him. Now, I believe if he were not to be in this game, there is no way in hell Nintendo is going to remind us of that fact by having him rubbed in our faces during the direct for the game that is meant to be selling us on buying it. So that's what I think. And I do think Nintendo finally realizes the importance of having King K. Rool in this game. I still to this day have no idea why he was omitted from the last two games. We saw the amazing reception he got when he was included in the Smash Brothers. So hopefully Nintendo, in making this game and in showing us all the references to the past, this is just something else. It's hinting toward the return of one of those inclusions from the past games, that being King K. Rool. So I'm very excited about it, and this, as I said, to me was just another massive hint that we can expect him to be back in Donkey Kong Bananza. But, you know, it might just be a coincidence. It might just be the fact you can use every amiibo in history in this game. You guys let me know what you think about that. Now then, my friends, we have arrived at the last point of evidence, and it's by far the most contentious and by far the one that I'm most reaching for. So I don't know if anyone out there is going to be on the same wavelength as me regarding this, although I will say I posted about it on X moments after the direct had finished. That's how strong I felt about it, and I had noticed that Andre Seegers from Game Explain had posted the exact same thing. So if I'm crazy, so is he. Sorry, Andre, but it's all to do with this reptilian resembling vine plant thing that is attacking DK in one of the clips. It's a very short clip, so we barely see it, which I think is also being done on purpose, but I'm gonna have it slowed down here in repetition so you guys can put your own eyes on it and let me know what you think about it when you see it. But when I first saw it, I instantly thought, wow, this is King K. Rool vibes. Now, I'm not saying it is King K. Rool, but I am saying it's a massive hint at his presence being in this game. Because, as I said, this green plant vine, whatever you want to call it, massively, at least to me, resembles the reptilian arm of King K. Rool with those trademarked white claws that we are used to seeing attacking DK with. So I don't think it's a coincidence that we're seeing that here. We can, of course, point to the fact, if you want to, for balance, that in the background there are other plants acting in a similar fashion, but the fact that we are seeing this green vine with those claws on the end attacking DK for only a split second, to me is way more than a coincidence. Now, as I said, I'm not saying this is DK, but if we are led to believe that Void Kong can manipulate things and transform things, and if we are to believe that he is in fact, or he could be King K. Rool, then how sinister to create vines in the image of your reptilian arm to attack DK with. Like, what a way to give someone nightmare fuel. But my friends, those are just my reasons as to why I think King K. Rool will in fact be in Donkey Kong Bananza. But what do you guys think? Was there enough evidence? Did I plead my case well enough? Or do you think it's just a lot of references and Nintendo playing homage to past Donkey Kong games? Let me know. We have less than a month to wait. And don't forget, you can win yourselves a copy of the game on this very channel. Just make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button whilst you're here. I will be back tomorrow with all the latest Nintendo news, my friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until then, have an awesome night. Take care. Bye.